What's up, family? I hope this message finds you well today. It's been a few weeks that I recorded some videos. In the last one I left off, I was sharing about some struggles I was having with recording the videos, and maybe even just in general. And I think just in general, the last few videos I've been sharing about like the struggles and the setbacks coming from out of a transition, dealing with many setbacks in my life, career-wise, as well as, I guess you could say, like my dreams and my purpose, finances, health, like many areas. And so it was important for me to share a little bit of what I am transitioning out of. The past 10 years have kind of been like this journey where I've been feeling like, God, I don't really know. I'm moving in it. I'm stepping in it. I'm going forward, but I don't really know. I don't really know. I thought I'd be at a different place in my life. This video is not about necessarily thinking that I would have been in a different place in my life, but what it is about is surrendering. So this video isn't necessarily about not being at a place in my life where I thought I would be, but because I was sharing about a lot of the setbacks and struggle, like being who I am, like my journey has been one of an encouragement. I just think I hit a place in my life where truly it was like, I've never been at this place in my life. If that makes sense to you before. Like, we're living this life and we're living this journey and walking through it not knowing a lot of the answers, if anything at all. So I just wanted to make sure that I'm not bringing just the struggles and the setbacks to y'all, because that's really not who I am. That's just I've been experiencing the doubt, the pain, the hurt, and all those things. And it definitely has, at times gotten me in my feelings and my emotions. But I also want to share with y'all the beauty and the joy, the encouragement, the inspiration, the reminders, because that's what this is really about. It's about both. I did not want people, because I do feel like people experience this in life, maybe even in church sometimes, is that we don't get to talk about the pain. In fact, people do get to talk about the pain. I think sometimes we over talk about it, right? But that's another subject, because this is not about that. This is particularly about, too, that sometimes people don't get to really express their pain, and it be heard, and they be seen, it be felt, but not for it to stay there, but just for people to be able to move forward. And I wanted to share that with my audience, because the pain of the journey, because the pain is very real. And I just want to remind y'all, I do have a little bit of notes, because I do not want to get too far off topic. I want to make sure that I'm sticking to my points and really sharing with y'all what I'm also learning in this journey, what's also been coming up for me in my deep reflection. So you will see me look down a little bit, because I'm going to bring myself back, because even right now my introduction was supposed to be shorter than what it was, and that's okay. That's okay. So back to it. That pain is very real, and sometimes I felt like I needed to fully process some things, like some of the hurt, some of the pain, because I've been known to suppress, right? And if you could relate to that, then you understand what it is to be able to feel heard, be seen, because some of this stuff comes from our childhood, in a way that helps us to move forward. Because for me, it's not about transferring that pain, hurting or harming people. Like, that essentially is the purpose, to be able to process the hurt and the pain, but to be able to move through it. I don't want to just talk about and share just the positive without sharing a little bit about the stories to how I got to some of the joy, some of the peace, the love, some of the things that I think about deeply, right, on this journey. And so I want y'all to know that I'm not someone who ignores that, pain is a very real thing, because I know that pain has affected me in my life. So I could only imagine there's many things that I haven't experienced, that people have experienced, that I couldn't even speak to the level of pain they have had to navigate, that they've experienced, the harm and the hurt that they've experienced. So I do understand that affects people's lives, their behaviors, their decisions. And so I want to always be careful in overriding that. But I also want to be mindful of not staying in that. Ultimately, about pain is a part of your story, but pain is not the whole story. All right? Pain is a part of the story, but pain is not the whole story. That's why my notes is essential. Because I record voice memos and I pour out on those things. I'm learning to take these videos through a process myself right now, hitting on points that I feel that are important. And that's why I use the notes right now, because it is a skill that I'm working on building, in hopes that it is helpful to your very own journey, right? I share this stuff, like that's a big part of my purpose, is pouring out, is sharing. And so what I've been really learning, I guess I could say, is surrendering. That's what I really been learning. And it caused me to like really reflect deeply on like what surrendering means, like for me, because like I often have these conversations with my friend, like we could define words, we could know like what the dictionary says about a word, even like what the root of words are. Sometimes I do look at words like that because I may have an idea of how to define a word or what I think that it means. But sometimes I'll look up, I didn't do this with surrender, but sometimes I'll look up the word and I want to look up the root of the word and I want to understand what it means by defining it. But that's one thing. And then the other thing is what it means to like really embody it, to really live it, to know what it means through experiencing it and living it, to not just solely define it. I'm sorry, I'm a little cold, y'all. And so I was reflecting on that real deeply. And what surrender been for me, it's been not just being able to define it, but what does it really mean for me? Like what does it mean to like really, really, really embody it? Sorry, y'all, a little. What does it mean to like really embody it? What does it mean to like really, really live it out? Like what it has meant for my journey. Like what is the difference between surrendering versus not giving up? I've been like sometimes, I don't know if any of you have done it, but I've been like, surrendering could feel like weakness in a sense. Surrendering could feel like you're giving up. Surrendering could feel like, yeah, you're giving up. You're letting go, but giving up in a way where it has the negative connotation. Like, I'm so defeated, I'm just giving up. I'm discouraged. I'm not going to move forward. I'm not going to go after this thing anymore. Like, surrender has sometimes meant that in parts of my journey, or I haven't fully understood it at the same time. I haven't really understood what it has been like to like really live it, even though I have come across the word in my journey. And so that's what I've been thinking about deeply. The difference between surrendering versus giving up. And thinking about it as it pertains to like God, to my hopes, my dreams, my purpose, healing, growth. Just thinking about it as it pertains to God and just life in general, right? As God being the source, the head, as God being the one that I follow. So thinking about surrendering, of course, in terms of all those things. And even like my coaching business, right? Because the struggles that I spoke to and the surrender that I spoke to, I didn't want to forget this, so I wrote this down. Like personal development journey, the growth, the healing, surrendering to that, because like going to the conferences, learning all of the things, being able to have what I thought was like a little bit of understanding and some progress on my journey of personal development, healing, and growth. Like when you're not at a place, when you're not at a place in your life where you thought you would be, it could really start to play on your psyche too, because it's not about, oh, I've done everything right, but it maybe to some degree is that you've tried to do everything according to how you've learned, what you learned of God and God's word, right? With the wisdom of others, like people have taught you wise counsel, or even learning from other people's failures and setbacks and roadblocks and detours and things like that. So like for me, personal development, growth, and healing has been a really thing, but I've had such a grip on it, and I thought that I was doing the work so much so that when I embarked on the coaching journey and I tried to, because personal development, my coaching was an extension of my own personal development. So embarking on that journey and having doubt come up, fears and setbacks, and it's like, man, am I who I thought I was? Am I made of what I thought I was really made up of? Do I really have the faith I say I have? Am I really believing what I say I believe? Like that could start to play on your psyche a little bit. And it's like realizing that these things, personal development, healthiness, health, embarking on healthy and building healthy relationships and growth and personal development, that these things are a journey. This is lifetime work. I do have to pause and go back to my notes for a moment because I don't want to get lost in this. So like, and feeling like I failed, and I know people could relate to this, and even though I know that I didn't fail, but feeling like I failed, because feelings are not factual, but they're still very real things that we have to navigate. So feeling like I failed caused me to take a moment. It caused me to take a step back. It caused me to reflect. It caused me to be like, wait a minute, I'm not in control. It caused me, because I could keep trying to force this thing, right? I could keep trying to force it, but force never really worked for me anyway. I don't think force works. I'm someone who believes in flow. And so even that, right? So I'm trying to force some of these things to work, but it's something that I'm really living. It's not something separate from that. I'm just learning these skills and I'm just doing this. This is real for me. This is real for me. And I take it as a very serious responsibility to be able to give somebody any kind of advice or feedback, any type of counsel, coaching. Like I take that as a real responsibility. I won't always get it right. I won't always be perfect in it. But I am mindful of that. I want to use wisdom in all ways. And my source is God, right? It's not just me. It has to come from God for me. But I'm learning that surrender is wisdom. I'm learning that surrender is wisdom. I'm learning that surrender is not defeat, but that is trust. I'm going to say that again. I'm learning that surrender is wisdom. That is not defeat, is trust. It's trust. It's trusting God. It's trusting a process, right? It's trusting a journey. It's relinquishing all control, because as humans, knowingly or unknowingly, we tend to want to know. We want to have the answers. We want to be in control. And it's because we want to know where our life is going. We don't understand some things when they happen in life, like the pain, the hurt. Like right now, speaking to what's going on in the world with the administration that we're living through right now. We don't understand it all. And we want to know. And we don't understand like why some of these things are happening the way that they do. So it requires us surrender, relinquishing, control, trusting, putting down the thing, laying it at God's feet, like speaking honestly and earnestly from your heart with God about all the things, about it all, your purpose, your meaning, your life, your goals, all of it. Even if you feel like God is not going to like this, or I'm going to get judged, God knows anyway. It's about like really God, I believe God still wants us to bring it to him honestly, wholeheartedly. Talk to him about it, because God speaks back. Pray about it. Bring it to God. Lay it at God's feet. Truly. Because when we're trying to be in control, we're also trying to control the outcome. And we're trying to control things we essentially really have no control over. So it's trusting God's timing. It's understanding we don't always know. We don't always have the answers all of the time. It's really like it's like trusting without knowing the how, the where, the when, the who, the what. It's trusting like without knowing how I'm going to get there, when, who's going to be a part of it, the what's. Sometimes we may have some of those answers, but we do not have them all. We do not control them. It's trusting in God's timing, because God's timing is truly divine. When you think about if there's been a time where you have put something down in your life and you're like, God, I'm trusting you in this. I've done all I could do. I put in all of the effort that I could possibly put in, and I'm trusting you. And I'm trusting you, Father. I got to make sure the video is still recording real quick. It's trusting God. It's like, I'm trusting you, Father. I'm putting it all down, not knowing, not having a fear, even if I put this thing down, that is lost. It's embracing the journey fully, walking forward, not knowing the outcome, like I said. Not having a fear of the outcome even. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I mean, I don't probably have to tell many of you this. You know it through your lived experience. I just tend to think about these things often, and when they pour out of me, I record about it and I share. But yeah, it's I wrote something down here. It's like placing it at God's feet before him. As many times as you need to, as often as you need to, because that's another thing. Sometimes we might do something one time, but sometimes one time is not it. Like, life is continually unfolding before us, and sometimes we reach a peak, and then like my favorite artist says, Lauryn Hill. Actually, Jay-Z said this, but Lauryn talked about it. This game has he said this game has valleys and peaks. And it's like life. Like Lauryn Hill talked about, like when you're learning something and then you learn it and you know all you could know, let's just say you know all you can know. You reached the peak, and then now it's time for you to learn something else, and now you're at a valley. And so doubt and fear and all of these things come in because it's the unknown. We don't know. And so now you got to build a new skill, learn a new thing that brings about growth, maybe healing, development. And so placing it before God's feet is over and over and over again, as many times as you need to. Talk to God about it. Pray to God about it. Because God is in control. God's timing is divine. I know from things I've experienced in my life in the past, we forget sometimes. We forget. But I know sometimes from things that I've experienced in my path, in my on my path and in my past, it works for both. That when I wanted something and I tried to force it, it just didn't happen in the timing that I wanted it to. But when I placed it before God and I put it down and I allowed God to have his way, the clarity, the movement that I had, the peace, the joy, the love that I felt for it, even though that may not always be the emotions you feel at every given time. That's what I realized. Like, I'm sorry, I did forget my train of thought, but that God's timing is divine and is beautiful when it happens in God's time, when we're not forcing it and we're in the flow. So surrendering is also being okay releasing it, knowing that you lose nothing at all by releasing it. In fact, I mean, if we allow, we have everything to gain. It's a beautiful thing to learn. Not when we're in sometimes like the lesson, right? But once you start to like really sit back and process things and process your pain and your hurt and talk to God about it and allow God to heal your heart, allow forgiveness to come through, is beautiful. Is really, really beautiful. It really is. And I just want to bring it back that surrendering for me has been getting to the bottom of myself. That's what it's been. It's been really getting to the bottom of myself, at the end of myself, so I could allow God to do what only God could do. Only in the timing. Because God says, I know the plans that I have planned. I know the plans that I have for you. And they're plans to prosper you, not to harm you. I'll share the full scripture and any other scriptures that I've been reflecting on in the post of this video. But it's really trusting God's timing. And I've come to the end. And that's right now. There may be another time where I got to come to the end of myself, my ego, my pride, because those things show up in this journey as well too. And it's really not about me. It's not about me at all. It's about why I'm here and the purpose of what's coming through me to glorify God in all things. It's so many bluebirds outside. I wish y'all could see them right now. But yeah, it's so that it's coming to the bottom of myself, so God's love, God could have his way through my being, so that God's love could come through, God's light, God's joy, God's peace, and most of all, God's truth to come through all the pain, through all the hurt. It's about letting go over and over and over again. We got to continue to do that. We don't have to. We don't have to, right? We don't have to do anything. But it is my challenge to let it go. to take it to God, to let God, allow God to work, allow God the space in a room to work in your life. Surrender. That's what this message has been about. All right. And sometimes it looks like doing that over and over again. And I want y'all to know, like, you guys, we know it anyway. Life has its pain, its doubts, its emotions, the hurt, all of it. But it's also such a beautiful journey. It's not easily lived through, but it's so beautiful. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for being here with me. I pray that this message, this video reaches somebody, touches somebody's heart, brings somebody closer to God in any way. I'm grateful for that. I thank y'all, as always, for being here with me, being a part of my journey. Thank you. I love y'all.